Hey everyone! Welcome back to Old Charles, your go-to spot for all things coin collecting. Today, we're diving deep into a classic, the Canada 5-cent coin from 1976. What's its value? Is it rare? Should you keep it or spend it? Stick around because we're covering everything you need to know. So, first things first, what is this coin? The 1976 Canadian 5-cent coin, also known as the nickel, features the iconic Bluenose schooner on the reverse side, a symbol of Canadian maritime heritage. The obverse features Queen Elizabeth II, as with most Canadian coins of this era. The 1976 nickel is made primarily of nickel, hence the nickname, and weighs about 4.54 grams. It has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters and a smooth edge. Now, how rare is the 1976 Canadian 5-cent coin? Let's talk numbers. In 1976, the Royal Canadian Mint produced roughly 146 million nickels. That's a huge number, making it a very common coin in circulation. So, if you find one in your pocket change, don't panic, it's not super rare. But, of course, rarity is just one part of the value story. Value depends a lot on condition. In coin collecting, we talk about grading, basically, how worn or well-preserved a coin is. A typical circulated 1976 nickel, with normal wear and tear, is usually worth its face value, about 5 cents. But if you have an uncirculated or mint condition coin, meaning it looks almost brand new, no scratches, no tarnishing, that can increase its value significantly. In fact, a mint condition 1976 nickel might be worth anywhere from 50 cents to $2 USD, depending on where you sell it and the demand. Now, here's where things get interesting for collectors: varieties and mint errors. Sometimes coins come off the press with mistakes that can make them quite valuable. For the 1976 Canadian 5-cent coin, there are a few known error types. Die cracks, small cracks on the coin surface caused by damage to the die. Double die errors, where parts of the design appear doubled. Planchet flaws, imperfections in the metal blank before striking. If you spot one of these errors, especially in high condition, it could push the value up to $10, $20, or even more. So, what's the current market like for this coin? Well, like many collectible coins, demand fluctuates. Online marketplaces like eBay show that average circulated 1,976 nickels sell close to face value, while uncirculated or error coins can fetch higher prices. To sum it up, the 1976 Canadian 5-cent coin is mostly common, but it holds value for collectors if in great condition or if it's an error coin. Whether you're just starting your collection or hunting for special finds, keep an eye on those details: condition, errors, and provenance. And if you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a coin update. Got a 1976 nickel or other Canadian coins you want to know about? Drop a comment below. Before we dive into the value of the 1976 Canadian 5-cent coin, let's take a quick trip back in time to understand the history behind this iconic piece. The Canadian 5-cent coin, commonly called the nickel, has a rich history dating back to the mid-1800s. The very first Canadian 5-cent pieces were actually made of silver, starting in 1858, because nickel metal wasn't widely used yet. But by 1922, the Royal Canadian Mint introduced the first nickel 5-cent coins made primarily of nickel metal. This was a big shift, making the coin more durable and cheaper to produce. One of the most famous designs is the Bluenose schooner, which first appeared on the reverse side of the nickel in 1937 and has stayed there with some small updates ever since. The Bluenose was a celebrated Canadian racing ship, famous for winning many international sailing competitions, making it a symbol of Canadian pride and craftsmanship. Now, coming to the 1976 nickel, it was part of a long run of nickels featuring the Bluenose on the back and Queen Elizabeth II on the front. In fact, this design has become one of the longest-lasting coin designs in Canadian history. 1976 was a special year in Canada because it was the year of the Montreal Summer Olympics. While the nickel didn't get a special Olympic design that year, the country was buzzing with national pride, and coins like this were circulating everywhere, part of the daily life of Canadians. Over the years, the Canadian nickel has evolved. For example, the composition changed to include more steel during World War II due to nickel shortages, but the 1976 coin went back to being mostly nickel. So, the 1976 5-cent coin represents a piece of Canadian history, combining tradition, the Bluenose, with the modern era, carrying the image of the Queen who has been on Canadian coins since 1953. Collecting this coin is like holding a small piece of Canada's maritime heritage and the story of its evolving currency. Now that we've explored the history, let's talk about one of the most important factors that determine the value of your 1976 Canadian nickel, its condition. When it comes to coins, condition means how much wear and tear the coin has endured since it was minted. Collectors use a system called grading to categorize coins based on their condition. The better the condition, the higher the potential value. Coins in good condition show heavy wear. The major design features, like the Bluenose schooner and Queen Elizabeth II's portrait, are still visible but faint or worn down. Most 1976 nickels you find in circulation are in this condition. These coins are typically worth face value, around 5 cents. Fine coins show moderate wear, with more detail visible in the ship's sails and hull, and the Queen's hair and facial features are clearer. These might be worth a little more to collectors, but not significantly. At this grade, the coin shows only slight wear. Most of the details are sharp, and the coin's surface still retains some of its original texture. A 1976 nickel in very fine condition may fetch 10 to 50 cents. Extremely fine coins have only minimal wear on the highest points of the design. The Bluenose details and the Queen's portrait are crisp, with no major scratches or damage. Such coins are more desirable and can be valued up to around $1 to $2. Uncirculated coins look as if they just came from the mint, no signs of wear, sharp details, and a shiny surface. These are the coins collectors really hunt for, and a 1976 nickel in this condition can be worth anywhere from $2 to $5 or more. It's important to note that coins with damage, like scratches, dents, cleaning marks, or corrosion, lose value even if they look otherwise nice. If you think you have a high-grade 1976 nickel, consider getting it professionally graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. This can help you get the best price if you decide to sell.